Anyways, I go back, and I went to the stake president, and I said, I want you to address my son's abuse. And I pressed the issue, as a good and righteous father should. And his words, exact words, were, Brother Bresee, this might be the natural man in me, but I don't want to be told what to do. Come on, guys. You can say something different, but that was so horrible. That hurt so bad. Here I am seeking justice for my son, and it's my righteous seek of judgment. And the stake president's getting angry at me for asking and telling me those words, those harmful words. But you know where it really gets ugly and applies to today's topic? Right after he told me that, he said, Brother Bresee, you need to go get some therapy. His exact words. So, not only did he angrily tell me he wasn't going to address my son's abuse, but now he's telling me to go get some therapy. You know, that was not a suggestion of love. This was a suggestion to knock me down and to hurt me more. That was not, right after that first sentence, to throw it out at the second one, that was not love. That was not a concern for me. That was a way of telling me to shut up and that I had a problem with wanting justice. They're using mental health as a way to protect the church in liability situations. That is not right. But you know what happened? I have a friend, and his daughter was being abused. A friend I've known for a very long time, and actually his daughter and my son are friends. And his daughter was being abused at church by the bishop's son. And the bishop's son was every day would say something to her. You know why your eyes are brown? Because you're full of, we're not going to say the word. We can all fill in the blank. He'd ask her, have you ever thought about what it would be like to be raped? He's asking her that. And it wasn't long before this girl was terrified to be at church. She was absolutely afraid. And my friend, as a righteous father, any righteous father, went to address that. And if a father didn't do that, he's not a man and he's not a father. You, President Nelson, would do the same thing if one of your children was hurt. You would go to address it and want it addressed. He went to this bishop and told the bishop he wanted it addressed. And guess what this bishop told him? Brother, you need to go get some therapy. Right? So there's a pattern here. Now, me and a personal friend I had known for years had both heard the same words out of their leader's mouth. For me, I don't take that as a coincidence, President Nelson. I think this is part of the attack on victims to silence and question and gaslight victims into not pursuing justice for their family. Mental health should not be used as a liability reduction tactic. You can do better. You know, I think of a woman I know. She was actually sharing her knowledge. She's a specialist in sexual health issues. She has years of training on that topic. And because she was sharing her expertise, you guys excommunicated her. You're sending a message to all mental health professionals to not use all of your training. And I wonder how many children are dying and how many people are dying when the mental health professional does not do their job with both hands. People are dying. You've got to knock it off. Did you know that over 1,000 mental health professionals signed a document supporting this mental health professional? Many of them were LDS, active LDS. The LDS therapists and mental health professionals know there's a problem. They know it. But why are they not? They're afraid of you. That's why they're not going to, this is not getting out of hand. Getting addressed. They're afraid of you. They're afraid of losing their job. They're afraid of their status in the community. They're afraid of fear. You make an example of one, and now they're all afraid. This is not God's way. It should be a conversation to seek truth. You know something else that you're damaging mental health? Before I go to that, did you know that there's a whole bunch of people leaving the church and they need a mental health professional to do it? Because it hurts so bad to leave the church. It does. Everybody thinks, oh, they're just apostates and lazy learners, right? The devil got a hold of them. I think there's very few people who left church that really wanted to. They actually wanted to stay. They looked for a reason to stay. But it hurts when you have your shelf broke. And a whole bunch of these people are going and they're getting help from a mental health professional to leave the church. They're specialists in this now, to specialize in helping people during their faith crisis. You would attack these people, President Nelson. You would threaten these professionals for helping those going through a faith crisis. The culture and the policy you've adopted would harm those who are helping those leaving the church and going through a faith crisis. This is not healthy. When you take the power away from the expert in a topic, you take the one hand behind a surgeon, people are going to get hurt. And people are getting hurt because of mental health issues. You need to put more of them on your table of advisors. Because people will die. You're responsible. You know, one more subject on my mind. I think of all the mothers. We talk about families can be together forever, and that is a beautiful concept. But that can also, it's a double-edged sword as well. When you're telling mothers they're going to lose their children forever, do you know how harmful that is to mental health? President Nelson. A mother loves her children, and so do fathers. And now they're going to lose their children forever unless they obey you completely. This is not healthy. And it creates havoc in families. It actually breaks up families. When one of the children is not living up to the eternal family standard, it creates a lot of disputes and harm and division where families don't even talk to each other anymore. So the families are together forever, it blows up. You're damaging mental health. People are being hurt. You know, you did do something that I did like, actually. I'm going to throw a positive in here. Is he used to teach that when people chose suicide, that was it for them. They're going to the celestial kingdom. And that's the end of the road for them. And that used to be the church's teaching. That's what I grew up being taught. But it wasn't shortly after my son's death. You guys came out with a new teaching on suicide. And it was so wise. It was a good move. And this is what a prophet's for. He's supposed to adjust to new conversations, new truths. And what he said is some things we know, actually what one of the leaders said, some things we know and some things we do not know. And that was the new church's stance on suicide. So that was a good move on your part. And I'm going to ask that you make some more good moves. Another good move is the temple. Before, your parents couldn't watch you get married if they weren't full, active, temple worthy. You know, my mother didn't see me get married. I followed you. Mother didn't see me, and how much harm did that cause in my family? It did. You can do better. How many families were harmed by this? And yeah, most of the members were quietly saying this is harmful. You finally caught up to what everybody was already thinking. But you did catch up. Was it a wise move to let people get married outside of the temple and then shortly after go in and get sealed? Was that a smart move on your part? A good policy change? It was.